welcome to another episode here at West Coast Dogman Project. I'm your host, Shea Michael Crisp, alongside with my awesome co-host, Mr. Todd Metz, and we're glad to have none other than Mr. Jason Corona. Jason, welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
And we're honored to have you. Todd, how you doing today, brother?
Good, Shane. How are you? You look good tonight. Sporting a new shirt there for sure.
Yeah.
I got the
That is a nice shirt. Nice shirt.
Nice. I didn't even see you were wearing the West Coast. Your name blocks it all.
Usually, a lot of times I don't. Sometimes I got the Region 1 shirt on there for a the Washington chapter shirt. But I threw
okay.
tonight, so yeah.
Hey, West Coast. West Coast in the house.
That's right. West Coast is in the house. I should have grabbed my hat too, but we look like a couple of clowns,
Hey, we're just supporting the cause, spreading awareness.
That's all. Yeah, it looked too much to say, but yeah, good. So let's get it started. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm ready to start whenever you guys are. Jason, could you just give us a little brief bios for the viewers that never heard of you?
Sure. My name's Jason Corona. I'm from and I am a paranormal investigator. I am a dogman researcher. I've had quite a few encounters with dogman. I've dealt with paranormal encounters since I was a young child. Pretty much been through it all, so.
Man, so your whole life you've been going through these things, huh?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. It's my first, the first paranormal encounter I ever had. I was 4 years old. I was playing in my room, and I had this really large toy box, and I emptied out my toy box, and I climbed inside. I shut the lid, and I couldn't count back then, but I laid in there, and at some point I was going to rise out of my coffin. So I go to open the lid, and I can't get it open. So I tried to open it again. Can't get it open. It felt like someone was sitting on top of the toy box, and there was nobody there but me and my mom. My brother wasn't even born yet, and my mother was in the kitchen doing housework, so it was just me in there. So I was yelling and screaming. She couldn't even hear me because I was way back in the back of the house, in my room, trapped in a toy box. And I'm yelling and I'm screaming and I'm kicking and I'm kicking and I'm kicking, and then finally, whatever it was, it let me get out. But that was my first scary encounter with the paranormal.
Wow. Pretty frightening, especially when you're only 4 years old,
Yeah. Oh, man. It was really terrifying. It was a really, really scary thing. Really, really scary.
Yeah, especially at such a young age. Did you have any other paranormal events growing up to your teenage years and into your early adulthood?
Yeah. A group of me and like a few friends, someone told me about, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a place called the Byron Hotel.
I think I've heard of it.
And it is supposedly haunted, and like a bunch of folks died in there and stuff like that. So someone told me about this place. I think I was like 22. I think I was 22 when this happened, and we all get in our cars and we head out there, and the Byron Hotel is in Tracy, California.
Mhm.
And so we get in our cars and we we head out. And the way you get in there is you have to sneak through people's properties, and it's like way out there, farmlands and like stuff like that. So we had to we had to sneak through like this like cow pasture and stuff. So we get through there and we get to this place. It's this huge abandoned. It didn't even really look like a hotel. It was just really strange looking. It was a huge building, and we find a way in. And um, I'm the only person that brought a flashlight. The other guys didn't bring a flashlight. So we are walking around in there, and we start going up this staircase, and it was really old. And I said, I don't know if we should even be on this thing. So, but we don't back down. We kept going up, and we go. So we go up the stairwell, and there's this long hallway, and there's probably, I think if I remember right, there were 4 rooms, like 4 doors, 2 on one side of the wall, 2 on the other. So we were walking down the corridor, and we hear wham, like something slam into a wall.
Mhm.
And my friends freaked out. I started freaking out. And then we hear laughing. Just this really, it was like really demonic. It was a really demonic laugh. We haul ass out of there. And right as we are about to exit the way that we came, rocks start getting thrown at us. And so we get out of there, and we never went back there. But that was really, really, the whole thing with the rocks and the evil laugh. I don't know. It was really, really terrifying. It was a really scary thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially the loud thud, and I was not
It was
to
terrifying.
bring it up, but not to change it up or anything. But I was just up near Tracy not too long ago, about a month and a half ago, because we went to Santa Cruz to go do a Dogman investigation. My wife and I, and we're just outside of Tracy, and we drove through there, and like you said, it is like a big farm town. There's a lot of pastures out there, a lot of cattle and
Oh
everything.
yeah,
So I know
yeah,
exactly where the area you're talking about. So, but yeah,
yeah.
terrifying
It is.
encounters for
Yeah.
paranormal for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't had a whole lot with the paranormal. I've done investigations. People will call me if they feel that they're having an issue with a demon, because I am very spiritual. So I will cast out demons.
Almost like an exorcism type.
No, in my belief, God's word says that if if you call upon the name of Christ, that you can cast out demons and devils.
Mhm.
And so, but that's only if you are a believer and you have a relationship with God, your faith is strong and stuff like that. If you go into it and you have no faith, you don't have a walk with Christ, then you're basically you're going in there and you're shooting blanks.
Mhm. I agree.
So, Jason, how about jumping into your first Dogman encounter? Give us the details. Let us know what happened. Where did you have this experience? How old were you? Give us
Sure.
some particulars on it, if you would.
My first Dogman encounter happened up in the Sierra Nevada mountains. I was at a summer camp. I was 8 years old. I was just about to turn 9. Um, I think I was there 4 days, but the camp was 2 weeks, so I was on my 4th day, and me and me and a couple kids, including our counselor, took out some like rowboats, and we were out boating out on the lake, and we see this. I don't know if it was an island, but it looked like an island, and it was this like medium sized island on the other side of the lake, but the island was on the lake itself. It was really weird, really strange. It was heavily wooded. We end up boating over there. We get out our boats, and we are exploring this island. And my counselor, or our counselor, goes, "Hey guys, stay right here. I have to pee. I'll be right back." So we are waiting for him, and then maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, he comes hauling ass out of just comes running, and he goes, "Get in the boat, get in the boat, get in the boat, get in the boat, get in the boat." So we get in our boats, and we are pushing off, and out comes this huge animal. It is on all fours, and it comes running out to where we were. Now we are back on the water now, and it's standing there, and it's just staring at us, and it looked like a huge timber wolf, and it is standing there, and then it stands up, and we end up just getting the hell out of there. But it stands up, and then it goes back down to all fours, and it walks back into the tree line. So that was my first encounter. It was really brief, but I remember how huge it was. It was huge, and it didn't look like a monster like you see in the movies and stuff like that. It looked like a natural animal. Mm-hmm. And it looked like a big 500-pound wolf that could walk on its hind legs. But the first thing I thought was werewolf. You know what I mean? And but I remember how huge it was, and I remember thinking, and now that I've had all of these years, I think back on it. It was such a cool experience because it didn't give off the vibe of evil, or I didn't feel like it was going to kill us. I think it just chased us out of there. You know what I mean?
Like it was territorial.
And yeah, because it didn't act aggressive. It just charged at us, or we were already in the boats. Mm-hmm. So it charged on to like beach area, and it just stood there making sure no one went back on there. So, but when it stood up, it was like, it reminded me of like a mixture of like, you know how the dogs have those like bowed out chests? Mm-hmm. It reminded me of a dog mixed with a grizzly bear. That's what it looked like.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jason, how far offshore? I know you were young. And give us a sense of distance, if you can remember, from where you guys were in your boats versus where this creature was on the beach.
We were probably about 50 feet from it.
Oh
50
wow!
Feet. Wow. Okay. In what year did this take place, Jason? Do you recall?
1987.
87. Okay.
Yeah. Funny. I am writing a fictional book based off of what happened, but this book is it's fictional. It isn't going. It's just a fictional story, but it is loosely based off of that experience.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah.
Real quick, Jason. Before we jump into the second encounter, a couple questions Todd and I have.
Sure. Yeah.
When the creature was walking back into the tree line, was it quadruped or was it biped?
It was quadrupedal.
Oh, it was quadrupedal. Okay.
Okay, so it dropped back down.
It dropped back down to quadrupedal, and it had a huge long. Its tail was really long. I remember back when I was a kid thinking that dog's got a really long tail, and it was a really long tail and really bushy. The tail looked longer than its body was. It was really weird.
Oh wow! So what color was this thing?
It was like a mixture of like gray and brown. It had like gray and brown fur.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Anything else that you can recall about the features of it besides the long tail? What did you judge the height to be?
It looked about 9-10 feet tall.
wow.
I remember when it rose up. It was I've never seen anything that tall before, and it was huge. It was it had to be. I think it was about 10 feet tall. It was a huge thing, and like I said, it didn't look monstrous or evil. It there were no glowing eyes. It didn't even look angry.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like a 500-pound bipedal wolf. The only difference is its arms were really long. It had really long arms. I did see claws. The claws were really long, but they were big, like wide. And it didn't have, the only difference with this one is it didn't have dog hocks with its legs. Its legs it reminded me of like a grizzly bear, but like stretched out more.
Mm-hmm. So it had more of the hominid leg structure, would you say?
Yeah, okay. Definitely. Yeah.
And people that, real quick, before anyone says, oh, it was a timber wolf, we don't have timber wolves or any wolves in California. Side note,
we don't have any wolves here.
Yeah, they were eradicated in the 1920s, and I know there's 3 wolf packs in Oregon that have came down towards Northern California near Lassen. I think it's called the Lassen pack. But if this was in 1987, I mean, there was no wolves then, so I think they're slowly introducing them into the population into California. But we're talking 1987 to 2023. Yeah. So
we have most states that do have wolves. There's not very many of them.
Yeah,
at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Jason, have you been back to this location at any time during your life?
Not exactly there, because where we were high up in the Sierras, really high up there, really way up there. I mean, my parents sent me far away. So, but I've been close. Haven't had any encounters there. But I have been back towards there, but haven't encountered anything when I went back towards there.
So let me ask you this: when you were out there with your counselor and some of the other kids, how many people were with you at this time, including your counselor?
There were 3 in my boat. My counselor had 4 in his. So 3, 4, 5, 6. There was 8 of us, or 7 of us.
Wow.
Did you guys talk about this thing when you went back to the camp and stuff?
Oh yeah. When we got back to camp, we were at the bonfire area, and we were eating. We were roasting hot dogs, and I told one of the other church leaders what had happened, and the other kid came in, and we all were just telling him what had happened. And he goes, "You guys didn't see that. It was probably a bear." They always say it's always a bear, you know what I mean? But
Sure.
I said, "That was not a bear." I said, "That was a wolf." I said, "It was a wolf, and it stood up." Nobody believed us, and they thought that we were just trying to like tell scary stories because we were out at the bonfire. It was really dark out there. They thought that we were just trying to scare people, and that's not what happened at all. Yeah. So.
Well, you had your counselor. You had your counselor with you, so there's some.
Yeah. No. He even confirmed to the church leader that we were talking to that, yeah, I watched it stand up. He goes, you guys are messing with me. He didn't believe it at all. Yeah. But some of the other staff that were there, they believed us, and they were little. Some of them were a little more cautious around the camp once we told them what had happened, but some of the people believed us, while the main people that were running the camp thought that we were just making up stories.
So nobody else in the group or in the counselor that you can remember had ever encountered anything like this in the area before? This is the first time. Huh?
I couldn't tell you because that was such a long time ago.
Sure.
There was a lot going on there. I'm not sure. I don't remember hearing stories there. I heard the only stories that we heard there were a Bigfoot,
Yeah.
but no dogmen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course, you didn't know what.
No, go ahead, Todd. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You go ahead, Jay.
No, I was just gonna say, like Jason was saying, the Sierra Nevada mountain range is very heavily, seen and frequented with Bigfoot. But there is a trail cam photo that has now been deleted that Vic Cundiff had seen, and then confirmed that there was a game cam that had 2 dogmen on it. A guy baited a camera, put jerky in front of it, and these 2 wolf-looking like creatures walked up. One stood up, grabbed it, bit into the jerky, and snarled into the trail cam and walked off. It was on.
Oh wow! I wish I could have seen that.
Yeah, exactly. There was an episode I was listening to a long time ago. Last year, Vic had mentioned it. There was a link that you had to be sent to see it on YouTube, but YouTube has since taken it down. So the only
that's
that can confirm that would be, Vic Cundiff that's seen it, but it came out of the Sierra Nevada mountain range.
Wow. Oh yeah. These things are everywhere, but I'm sure that you already know this, but there are different types of them out there, and it really depends on what area that they're at, or it really depends on the environment. But there are different types of them out there. I think the ones we have here in California look like wolves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. And down by the border, the hyena ones are seen a lot more. So maybe, I don't know if it's a territorial thing or if they're just migrating, or, I mean, who knows? It's anyone's guess. It's all theory based right now. So, but
right.
Jason, would you mind jumping into your second encounter?
Sure, yeah.
Well, real quick question though. from your first encounter to your second encounter, how many years in between? From
Oh,
1987
geez.
to what year?
1987. My second encounter was 2003.
Oh, wow. Okay. So 15 years?
So, yeah.
Or, yeah, about
Yeah.
15 years. Yeah.
And this encounter, I had 2 encounters in one day. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. So this takes place in Yosemite. My friends and I, two of my best friends, we each year we would go camping uh, for my friend Jared's birthday. So that year, Jared wanted to go to Yosemite and camp there. So I was all right. So let's go. So we we pack up, and back then I was heavily into paintball.
Mhm.
And so we packed all of our paintball gear, and then we like head up, and so we are driving up, and it's a long drive. It's a pretty long drive, and I think at the halfway, I think when we were about halfway there, um, I got really sick suddenly. Like my stomach started twisting and tying in like knots, and so I had to pull over because it was getting to where I couldn't breathe. So I had to pull over, get out of the car, and that lasted like a few minutes, and then it went away, and then I got back in, and we started heading up. So we get there, we set up, and then we get out the fishing poles, and where we were camped, we were I don't even remember the name of the camping area, but that was a long time ago. But where we were camped, we were right near a stream, it was a really good sized stream, and there were I think it was striper were like running through there. So we go out there, and we set up our poles, and we're sitting there waiting, and my 2 friends were, hey, we'll be right back. We are gonna go grab the ice chest and bring it over. So they get up and they leave, and I'm sitting there, and I catch fish. So I am reeling in this fish, and it was a striper. So I reel it in. I get it off the hook. I put it into the bucket. Then something catches my eye across the stream, and I look, and it looked like a wolf, but it looked a little different.
Mhm.
This wolf looking creature comes walking into the stream. It comes out of the brush. It comes, and it gets into the stream, and it's staring into the water, and it's just standing there staring. And I remember looking at it, and I was like, that, there's something not right about that. And it had really broad shoulders, really muscular. It had a huge head, and it had a mane, but its mane also, like like a razorback boar, or a boar. You know how they have that tuft of hair that runs down their spine.
Yeah, almost like a mohawk, right?
Exactly. That's what this thing had, but this thing was gray and black. It had a black mohawk thing on the top of its head, running down its back, and it tapered off. And it had a short tail. I remember looking at it, going, that is not. What is that thing? It had its back legs were giant. They were heavily muscular, really muscular. And I remember looking at its front legs, and it had long limbs, and it was really muscular, and it was gray in color. It had really wide, long, pointed ears, and its head looked like a wolf, but how can I describe it? It had so much muscle that its face looked like it could flex. If that's the best description that I can give. It had muscles all over its body. It was huge. And so it's staring into the stream, and then it looks over at me, and I throw it the fish. And I don't remember if it took the fish because I just threw it towards it, but it turns around and it leaves, and this thing was so huge. It was a huge and wide. It had to be over 600 pounds. It was huge. Really muscular.
Any sounds that it make? When it was it fully bipedal, or did it drop down to be quite a bit?
It did not go by. It was not bipedal at all. It didn't rise up to its hind legs. It stayed on all fours, but it walked. It walked funny. It had a weird gait to it as it was walking away.
Yeah. So how far? You said you were across the stream. About how far from where you were standing, and when you saw the creature emerge? You think?
Maybe 150 feet, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jason, now when you described the creature, would you say it almost looks like the soldier type because of how massive it was?
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you. That's exactly what it looked like.
Okay.
Not quite like they've been depicted. It very much looked natural, but this thing was ripped. And it wasn't bodybuilder ripped. It was just this thing had muscle everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah. Its muzzle was long, but it was wide, like it was carrying some big teeth in there.
Mm-hmm. And after you said you threw the fish, what happened? Whether the dogman did it walk away back into the tree line, or what happened after you? Did you throw the fish at it, or did you just throw it back in the water?
I threw the fish back in the water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I kind of threw it towards it, but I figured that it was looking for fish, so I threw it back in the water. I don't know why I did that, but it didn't. It turns around, but it doesn't come back the way it came. It goes off the other direction, but it had its rear end pointed right at me, and it was. I've never seen anything that big. It was pretty much as big as a grizzly bear would be.
Mm-hmm. And that's where you saw the tail, right? And did you see the leg structure? Was it digitigrade or hominid?
It was very, very, very canine.
Okay.
It was like how people would describe when they have encounters with dogmen. It was a huge canine, but but you could tell that it wasn't a dog or a wolf.
Natural, right?
Todd?
Like it wasn't natural looking, right?
It was natural looking, but it didn't look like. You could tell that it was different.
Yeah,
that it was something else.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Not to say that it was not natural, but it didn't look like your typical wolf, right? Like it had a weird gait.
It did not. No. It looked like something that could kill you, like within seconds.
Yeah.
If it wanted to, yeah.
Jason, did you describe the color of this one? If you did, I missed it.
This one, yeah. It was its body was gray. It had gray fur, but it wasn't long. It had like it was a medium. It was like medium fur, but it was a solid gray, but it had, how can I describe it? It had hints of like black through its fur, like almost like the tips of its fur had like black tips on it.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
its mane, that mane that I was talking about, that was all black, and it was a really super dark. It was black. It was super black.
Like light absorbing black, right? I've heard that on a lot
Right.
of encounters.
Yeah. I've never seen anything that black before, but I remember thinking how bizarre it was. But I got this feeling. I said, "This is something scary." Like I was completely terrified, and that wasn't the only thing that we encountered that day. So it leaves. My friends come back, and I tell them, "You wouldn't believe what I just saw," and I told them everything, and they were completely freaked out. They 100% believe me, because I'm not the type of person that's going to sit there and bullshit you. They said, "Where did it go?" That was their first words, like, "Where did it go?" And I said, "It went off." I said, "It went away from our camp." They said, "Are you sure?" But so that evening, we retire. We get in the tent. We're sleeping, and I wake up in the middle of the night, and I have to pee. Now, this is gonna sound strange, but I've never liked camping. I'm not comfortable with it. I'm very in tune to the environment, to my surroundings. It was a part of my training. I am a black belt in the art of ninjutsu, but our martial arts system, it wasn't just about throwing kicks and punches and wrist locks. It was what ninjas were military based. They operate much like a military group. So I learned all sorts of like survival skills and military style training, and so I'm really in tune to like things. And I've never been the type of guy who's out camping, and this drives me nuts. Why do you have to go out so far away to find a tree just to piss on?
I agree.
I'm not that guy. So what I would do is I would just hang my body outside the tent and just go away and just pee, because I'm not going to be that guy that's going to get snuck up on and attacked. So now I stepped outside the tent, but I stuck right by the tent and I peed, and this nasty smell just came out of nowhere. It was oh my God, it was a nasty smell. It kind of reminded me of a skunk, but it was nasty. It was like, I can't even describe it. Kind of like a musk, like a musky scent smell. But it was a nasty. It was just nasty, and I remember it smelled so bad that I could taste it. And I turn around, something says, "Look behind you." So I turn around, and there is, and okay, so I was by the tent. My car was about maybe 20 feet, 45-degree angle, 20 feet away from us. We were in like a circle. So the tent, the car, the picnic table. So it was by the picnic table where we had all the food. We forgot to put the food up. And it was standing there with the food, and it was this huge, it was black. It was all black. And it was tall. It wasn't like gigantic muscular. It was tall and skinny. But it was jet black fur. It had long, pointed ears, really long ears, and it was getting into the ice chest.
Oh wow!
And I was like, so the first thought that came to my mind was, is it that wolf thing that I saw earlier when I was fishing?
Mm-hmm.
This one, this wasn't it. This one was completely different. It looked like a stretched out 8-foot tall coyote, but all black. And so it is going through our food. I quietly get back into the tent, and my friend Jared wakes up, and he goes, "Hey, what's up?" And just be quiet. And I told him there's something outside our tent. So I tell him just be quiet, and we hear it rummaging through our camp, and then it stops, and it comes up to our tent, and it starts sniffing the tent, right where my friend Jared was. And I told him, don't move, just be quiet. And it is sniffing Jared through the tent. And I just remember thinking, what the hell are we going to do? And so I just started praying and praying, and it left. And but this thing, it didn't look like your like classic Dogman, like the depictions of like a classic Dogman. It looked like a stretched coyote. I didn't see its hands or like anything like that, but I saw like a side profile, because it was sort of like faced like sideways, and it was getting into the ice chest. Mm. But I remember watching its ears turn back to its head, like its ears laid down. I remember going, those some long ears. So it looked like a coyote with a long snout. It was really long. It had really long limbs, and it was really slim, really tall. This one was about 8 feet tall. And it reminded me of like a primate's body. When they what are they called? Lemurs. Mm-hmm. It reminded me of a lemur when they are standing up and they are jumping from like tree to tree. Its body looked like that to me.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, that's strange. Oh. Yeah. That's a different description. That's
yeah.
For sure.
Huh?
That's a different description of one of these creatures for sure. I don't think I've ever heard that comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminded me of a primate.
Well, that we've heard, but the lemur connection, like that type of an animal, is just
This thing looked like it was. This thing looked like it could swing from tree to tree. That's what its body reminded me of. It looked like it lived up in the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, a quick question on that encounter. What about its hands? And also, before, did you see any type of eye shine? Was it self-luminescent?
I didn't see
or
any
was
eye
it-
shine.
was it-
I saw it from the side.
Oh, from the side. Okay.
Yeah. It it lifts its head out of the ice chest, and then it brings its head back down, and it's going through the ice chest. But that's when I saw it had a long muzzle, really long. Its head looked very much canine. It looked like it looked like a big coyote.
Yeah, and like you said, it looked real skinny. We interviewed a gentleman last week from the UK. His name is Colin Kilty, and he talked about his first encounter. The thing looked like you could see the ribs on it being super skinny, but the long protruded snout and the pointy ears. So, I mean, if it's seen in the UK and you're seeing it going through, your food at your campsite, I mean, maybe it was a straggler, maybe it was a loner type that was kicked out of a pack, or it was just a stray, So I definitely. But like Todd said, I never heard the lemur comparison to it. But if it, like you said, you saw the side view of it and it looks real skinny. And Shade Viking,
yeah, it was really skinny.
Same thing. But they've heard some dogmen look starving, almost skinny like.
Yeah, it looked starving. So I went back in and I just started praying. I started praying and I invited I said, Holy Spirit, I invite you into this place. Holy Spirit, I invite you. And it just kept saying it over and over and over and over. And then it left. So.
How long did that encounter outside of the tent last, Jason? How long was that thing there?
Huh?
How long was it there in your campsite?
It was rummaging for about 10 minutes. You could hear bipedal footsteps. It was walking. Jared goes. It sounds like it's walking around on like us. And I said, I know it does. And he goes, what is it? I said, I don't want to tell you right now. So I didn't even tell him what it was because I didn't know how he was going to react. But what came to mind and I didn't think of it for a long time. But what came to mind was what I saw back when I was a kid. But this one was completely different. Completely different.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Jason. Did you have any other encounters you wanted to talk about, or would you just wanted to maybe do a part 2 on the other ones? And did you want to promote a little bit?
Why don't we do a part 2? Because I've had about 8.
Oh, shoot. Oh, I'd love to have you back for the other part 2. Well, since we've got probably about 10 to 15 minutes left, do you want to dive in and talk about the books that you just released the other day and talk about Dogman Study and your research?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I just released, technically, there are 3 books, but I have 3 books that are available on Amazon Kindle or Kindle Unlimited. The first one is Dogman Study Handbook, and then there is then there's the second one called The Upright Canine, the Cryptid Killer, and then the third book is The Upright Canine, Cryptid Killer Special Edition. That's the one you want. If you get The Upright Canine, the Cryptid Killer, that one has typos in it, and typos that I didn't catch. I went through it, but Amazon editing did not do what they were supposed to do and edit it right. They didn't edit it right. So the first book is called Dogman Study Handbook, and it's basically for like beginners who don't really know anything about Dogman and stuff like that. It's a really basic guide about what they look like, what their habits are. Um, I give some theory and some ideas, but it's a really basic guide for someone starting out that doesn't that thinks they might have had an encounter or have had an encounter but aren't quite sure if they did. That's what this book is for. This helps people that have had encounters and don't realize that they had one.
I know. I was charging my Kindle earlier, and I was going to download them tonight and go through them and start reading. So I'm pretty stoked because we just finished up the Texas Dogman Triangle. I finished that last week for the second time. So I'm like, man, I need some more books, and I'm glad you released them.
These are really short books. They're about 30 pages each.
Oh, because probably read that in 2 hours, less than 2 hours.
Yeah, no, they're really short books. But the one that I'm really proud of is the Upright Canine, the Cryptid Killer Special Edition. That's the one that I worked really hard on. I worked really hard on it, and
that was the first one I downloaded.
Yes, that is a good one. I can't go all into it because I want you to read it for yourself. And if you want to invite me back on to your show and you want to question me about it, I'm more than happy.
Yeah,
but
definitely have you for a part 2.
You are going to read the information you're going to read in there is going to be information you probably never heard before because that's the kind of researcher I am.
Wow. It sounds really good. Like I said, I can't wait to dive into it. So
yeah, we're looking for that for sure.
I've read it about 10 times. I'm very proud of it.
So good. Good. That's what it's all about. Proud of your work, especially when you put a lot of hard effort into it. So, and if you want to talk a little bit on the handbook, so the handbook's more of like, is it like a field guide research? Like, is it for new people that are new to the phenomenon and want to get out in the field and look for these creatures?
Sort of, yeah. Basically, it touches on what these things are, and the way I sum things up, I don't sugarcoat things. I don't beat around the bush, and I'm straight to the point. And there are spiritual references in both of the books. And I am a very spiritual person. I have a close personal relationship with Christ. My faith is strong. I know who I am spiritually, and so some of that is added in there because, like it says in the Bible, that we battle not against flesh and blood, but
absolutely
everything that we do in our life most of it is, and we don't realize it, is a spiritual battle. Even if it's a fist fight that we get into with somebody, there is a spirit behind each situation that we get involved in our lives.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So yeah.
So tell us where people can find you on Facebook and other platforms, websites, and things like
that. You can find me on Facebook. It is a Dogman Study at facebook.com. And I have a YouTube channel. It was Dogman Study, but someone hacked my account somehow and deleted every video that I had on them. Every video. So I changed the channel name. So you can find me on YouTube. It is Paranormal Study now.
Paranormal Study, okay.
So and daily I'm putting videos up, trying to replenish things. But I'm with the channel. I'm not just doing Dogman now. I'm doing some other cryptids out there. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with Sasquatch because so many people do it. It's already been done. You know what I mean? So Sasquatch gets Bigfoot gets overdone. Everybody knows who Bigfoot is. Everybody.
Right, move aside. Dogman's taking the throne.
Exactly. Give Dogman a shot because that's the one he's the one you got to worry about.
I agree 100%. That's what I'm saying. Hey, he's taking the mantle now. So, but
yeah, no, and so many people. I had 3 Dogman encounters in 2021. 3
oh,
within a 2-month span. 3.
and was that all here in California?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
I had 2 in Washington State. One was in Seattle. The other one was in a small town called Black Diamond,
Uh-huh.
up in the Olympic Mountain area, or the Olympic Mountains area.
I'm familiar with. I was just up in that area just a few weeks ago, and what I think they
nice.
just reopened. I think they just reopened the Hurricane Ridge there, or whatever it is, from fires and stuff. So yeah, I'm kind of familiar with that because I live in Washington. I just moved out here, so yeah, I'd be interested in hearing those encounters for sure.
Yeah, we need more encounters in Washington for sure because Washington's
definitely.
so heavily with Sasquatch, but where there's Sasquatch, there's Dogmen. So we need more reports out of there.
I use Google Earth. I use Google Earth as a tool. I can find cryptids hiding using Google Earth.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. There was,
and I'm really good at it.
Not too long ago.
I'm really good at it.
Yeah, there was a lady in Georgia that was going down the road, and it was down somewhere in Georgia, and it was just on a backcountry road, heavily forested on both sides, and she zooms in and she records it where she drops her pin drop, and you zoom in, and you clearly see what looks like a bipedal canine just in the tree line, just sticking its head out, like it was the Google car was just driving by, not even noticing it. But it
exactly,
the Google car.
Yeah,
so I know exactly what you mean.
I did this search, and I'm sure you are familiar with big trees, right? Big trees up near Lake Arnold and stuff.
Yeah,
I did a scan in big trees, and I found it blew me away. I will when we get off this, I will message you the photo. Actually, the photo, I found a huge Sasquatch hiding in a tree on Google Earth. So I screenshotted it, I circled it, and that is the first image I ever found when I started searching for cryptids using Google Earth. So
that's a good tool to
that
use.
image is in the book.
Oh, awesome. Oh, yeah, if you could send that to me after the interview. And then, like I said, Jason, we'd love to have you on for a part 2. We're going to start, and I believe it's going to be early or mid-August. I'd have to get with Todd so we can kind of brainstorm it, break it out a little bit better, game plan it. But August and early September, I think we were going to do our part 2 interviews. We'd love to hear more because, especially with you being in California and Todd being in Washington, we're trying to get more encounters on the West and in the Western United States because everyone only reports them, it seems like, in the Eastern United States or the Northeast.
That drives me nuts.
I'm the same way. We need more awareness out here.
Definitely.
A ton of them here.
Right. But yeah, we'll definitely shoot. And Jason, message me after. And if you want to send me that picture, and then I'll get with Todd, and then we can see when we can book you again, hopefully next month. Because like I said, I know you're a busy guy. Next month or early September, and then we can go on your other 5 encounters and hear those because I'm super stoked to hear that. But first, I'm going to download your book tonight and read that. So everyone, if you have a Kindle, do the same thing.
Yep, I got my Kindle ready to go, so we'll check it out. Check it out later. Hey,
download.
Jason, Yeah, go ahead.
The book you want is is the Upright Canine Cryptid Killer Special Edition. That's the one you want. You want the special edition.
Special edition. Okay.
So if we're searching under Jason Corona on Kindle, your name will pop up and your books will be associated with that, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
Well, Jason,
all right, thank you guys
again so much. Again,
thank
you for taking time out of your night to do this interview with us, and thank you for everyone that stopped by to watch. And like I said, we can't get enough of these out there just to spread awareness. So, Jason, you have a good evening, and we'll talk to you real soon. Okay.
God bless you guys.
You
all right, bye.
All right, bye. Thank you.
Well, that was a good interview, Todd. I mean, like I said, that was a California, so me, I was just like, hey, that's just up my alley. So I can't wait to get him back for part two.
Right down in North, was it in Yosemite and stuff like that. So that's pretty good. I'm looking forward to either reading about or hearing more about the Washington encounters for sure. It's nice to hear those pop up. We know for a fact, that Sasquatch is out here. It's the #1 state for Sasquatch sightings, and Oregon coming in at close #2. So we know that wherever there's Bigfoot sightings, there's got to be a dogman, intertwined with those other creatures. At least I'm convinced of the fact. So that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And like I said, everyone, we'll be doing a part 2 series with. I think we were going to have a few guests. I think we've talked a few times, Todd. I think Nick was going to come back. I think Bettina was going to come back. So yeah, we'll definitely be posting that on the Facebook show. If everyone can please go like and subscribe to our channel, and then if you can also join our Facebook pages, where under the United States Dogman Federation, the North American Dogman Project, Region 1, Washington State, and West Coast Dogman, and all the other pages under West Coast. And
there's a lot of stuff going on here.
I know. I was going to say before we have so much. I have way too much. I've created a chaos, but hey, it's fun. This is what keeps me going, and looking forward to doing more and getting more guests on. Oh, Todd, I was going to ask, did you want to introduce who we're going to be having on Saturday for our part 2?
Well, I don't have the list in front of me there. You just sprung that on me 2 days ago, so I'll have to do that one.
My bad. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, you caught me off guard on that one.
My apologies. I should have said that I've been busy this week, but so Saturday at 1 o'clock Western or Pacific time, it's going to be, I think, at 9 o'clock in the UK. We're starting the part 2 of the UK series with Jamie Atkinson with Dogman Expedition. He's going to talk about his Dogman encounter and what he's done in the field and talk about his different theories. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I knew it was a UK #2, but I wasn't sure that. I couldn't remember the fella's name. You had mentioned it. I've been jumping in and out of this stuff like you have. It's been kind of crazy the past couple of weeks. We've had a lot of guests. We've talked to a lot of people. We got more people on the hook. So it's been great. And let's thank all of the people who came in on the comments. Had some really good questions out there that got popped up. So hey, much appreciated from everybody who joined the podcast tonight. It's really appreciated by
I think this is a
team.
record. I think we had 16 that are watching right now. So I mean, hey, we're not out there to get likes or subscribes. No. We just say, hey, it helps with the algorithm. So when people do want to watch it, maybe if they just type in Dogman, hey, maybe we'll pop up in the top 10. Hopefully, like I said, we're just trying to spread awareness. Not in this for likes or fame or nothing like that. We're just get the awareness out there and really bring awareness out to the Western United States and around the whole entire world too. So I mean, that's why we've got the UK series going. And another thing I wanted to mention before we jump off, if you're going out into the woods, like Nick Valente says, we have the right to go in there. We also have the right to come out. So, and if you are going in the woods, tell someone where you're going, and please pack a firearm on you if you're able to. Some countries you're not allowed to, some states don't allow it, but you have to protect yourself and your friends and your family. So definitely let someone know where you're going, or carry a GPS on you, one of those tracker devices. So if you do go missing, like Jason was talking about Yosemite, that's the #1 area, national park, where people go missing on the 411. So definitely be smart to pre-plan before you're just going out,
That's for sure. Good advice for sure, Shane, on that note. Hey, looking forward to the next one. We'll see you on Saturday, and once again, West Coast. All away.
The answer's, yep, exactly. The answer's out there. Have a good night, everyone.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Have a good night. Take care.